What's up, dogs? This is SaberWolf94. Gonna be reviewing Shining Legends today. This is gonna be called Crimson Rainbow, I'm pretty sure in English. The latest set that we're gonna get in 3 months. There's a shit ton of cards here. I'm pretty sure 99% or possibly all of the cards are gonna be in this set that we're gonna get. They're obviously gonna mix it up with a bunch of other Japanese sets. This is what they usually do. Our English sets end up being bigger and they include other cards. But this set has a shit ton of good cards. I'm really excited for it. I'm really glad the sets they keep getting better and better. Burning Shadows was great, and I'm thinking there's no way they can make them even better, and they keep making them better. But anyway, right off the bat, you can see we have the classic, the starter, the Bulbasaur Venusaur line here. Let's look at Bulbasaur. There's nothing really special about him, but he's very cute. I like him. 7 HP basic, pretty nice. But the real guy you want is Venusaur. I actually read this guy and some of the cards from before, so I know a little bit of what they do. So this Pokemon, 160 HP, it's very good. Uh, I suppose it's the new standard, or I guess a little bit of higher than average standard. Maybe the standard is 150 now, but very good HP still. For a treat cost, not good, but for as long as there's heavy ball, then that means that you can instantly search Pokemon like this, and that's more reliable than timer ball when you want to get an evolution Pokemon. Uh, being weak to fire, okay, standard, and has an ability, Jungle Guardian. We've seen this before, but I think it's been a long time ago. All grass type energy count as 2. Uh, each grass energy counts as 2 energy. So that means Solar Beam, uh, if you put 2 grass energy on it, you can instantly do 2 for 90. Is not 4, thanks to the ability. Okay, so the attack isn't, well, it's kind of decent. 2 for 90 is not that bad. But what you can do is obviously take advantage of the ability and help other attackers. This doesn't stack, and this isn't exactly like the energy acceleration from things like Blastoise and Emboar and Magnezone that we've seen, but it's something. It's something that's pretty good. It usually only happens to grass Pokemon. I think only once Gardevoir from, I don't remember what set was it, Noble Victories maybe, or one of those sets had an ability like that for Psychic, but or maybe it was Next Destinies, I'm not sure, but yeah, pretty cool art. Venusaur, always cool. So this is something to think about. Uh, I mean, if anything, you can just use this with a bunch of other basic grass Pokemon. Okay, so Shining Celebi. I forgot to mention there's a lot of legendaries in this set, which is also cool, and they're shining. They're not shiny, they're shining. So this is interesting. I don't know the rarities of these cards. I imagine they're going to be rare hollows or something, and they're possibly going to make them secret rares in English sets, but I'm not too sure. Uh, Maybe I'm thinking of Yu-Gi-Oh here where they do stuff like that, but I'm thinking there should be at least rare hollows. There's no way they're going to be lower rarity since the legendaries too. But anyway, it's kind of weird where they casually do this. A bunch of legendary Pokemon being shiny for no reason, but they don't have any special like rarity or anything. But I digress. So Celebi, basic Pokemon, 70 HP. The attack leaf step isn't good. So obviously you're going to use this Pokemon for the ability, and the ability is Time Recall. Each of your evolved Pokemon can use any attack from its previous evolutions. You still need the necessary energy. But yeah, this is basically exactly like the Celebi from Boundaries Crossed, pretty sure. Uh, the only difference is this is a basic Pokemon, possibly easier to search, and I guess if they target it, it's much less of a hassle. They're only going to get 1 prize. So this is pretty good. Cards like this usually see plays. They're part of combos and strategies, so I imagine it's going to be good. Oh, and before I forget, with Venusaur, the ability doesn't stack. So if you think that maybe you can use two or even three and make attack costs costless, it doesn't work like that. It's only you can only use one. So yeah. Then we have Breloom. I know Shroomish doesn't have anything special about him. 110 HP, okay, stage 1. To retreat cost not that good. And Hibernation Spore is a sleeping attack. Basically, instead of one coin, instead of flipping one coin, they have to flip two to wake up, and that's about it. And Magnum Punch is just a 3 for 80 attack. Uh, Pretty average card, but I guess for an uncommon, not that bad. Speaking of good uncommons, this one is much better. Carnivine. Uh, Flick Poison switches your opponent's active Pokemon and one of their bench Pokemon, and the new active Pokemon is poisoned. This is decent. Uh, I thought that it was this Pokemon that actually switched, and you could use the, Donphan and Gengar shenanigans, but, I guess it's decent. The better attack is Crunch, is a 2 for 30, but it's an instant discard, and, that's kind of good actually for only a basic Pokemon. 100 HP is okay. So decent Pokemon. And we have our legendaries. Shaman, 70 HP, not that good, but I guess you can search it easily. Shuffle your hand into your deck, then draw 6 cards. Support attack, pattern. Uh, these attacks aren't that bad. I guess you can use a support attack like that early. Since it's a basic Pokemon, it's good. If it was a stage 1 Pokemon, then it would have been worse, but the problem is 70 HP is kind of low, and they didn't even give it free retreat since it's Shaman, which is a shame, to say the least. And Rally, if your Pokemon was knocked out from damage by attacks during your opponent's last turn, this attack does 90 more damage. So this is kind of like a revenge attack. We saw early in the Black and White uh, series with stuff like, what was it, Terrakion, and I think it was Buffalant, whatever. But yeah, it's a 120 attack for 2 if you got knocked out. And that's basically it. Nothing really special about him. Thankfully, Virizion I know is much better. Another grass Pokemon. 110 HP, much better. Still has that 1 retreat cost. Wrapped in Wind. This is a 1 for 30 attack, which is, decent. And attach a basic energy from your hand to this Pokemon. Now, this isn't like super amazing because it's not from the deck, but it's still good. It's energy acceleration, and it doesn't have to be grass too. So that's good too. It gives you a little bit more flexibility. Maybe you get the third energy that's not grass for the Pike attack. And Pike is a 3 for 90 and 30 damage to an opponent's bench Pokemon. So it's like a 120 attack cap for 3. And it's pretty good. It's not as good as it used to be. You see other attackers doing even crazier shit with 3 energy costs, but it's a basic Pokemon. Virizion, Grass. We don't get that many basic grass Pokemon that are, big legendaries like that and are kind of like, just decent all around good basic Pokemon. So this is kind of good. Uh, Shining Genesect is another one of those shining Pokemon. 130 HP, pretty good. It's actually, I think they overdid it. I mean, you'd think a Pokemon like that would cap at 120 or something. I don't know why I'm thinking this, but anyway. Energy Reload. Basically, once per turn before you attack, you move 1 grass energy from one of your Pokemon to this Pokemon. Pretty good, pretty useful. It's kind of like a Flash Fire from Flareon that we got from Generations. Um, This is good because Gaia Blaster is, a good solid attack that we've seen more than enough times, I would say, but, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's what they say. And I think, yeah. So, yeah, Gaia Blaster, it's 50 damage, but 20 more damage for its grass energy. So, if you have 3 of these, it does 110 damage. Basically, Keldeo's attacks, Flareon's attacks, Raiku's attack. If you use Magnezone, guys, I do. Uh, if you attach even more energies, it gets better as it goes. So I guess maybe you can use this with Venusaur. I'm not sure what the ruling is, but obviously, when they release sets like this, they include a lot of obvious strategies together. Um, yeah, I'm pretty sure you can. The ruling would be that you can still do it. So I guess you could just attach 2 energy and it's Genesect is instantly doing 130 damage. Pretty nice. Okay, NKGX. One of the dogs, legendary dogs, cool Pokemon. Obviously, a lot of people like this. I like Raikou best, but okay. Flame, 2 for 50, decent, not that great. Fire Fang, 100 for 3, and Instant Burn. This is, I suppose, it's good. And Brave Burn GX is a 150 snipe, basically a force snipe. You can't use this GX attack on a basic Pokemon, on an active Pokemon. Sorry, you have to choose one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. But 150 for 3, kind of good. I guess it's a basic GX. Usually is the stage GXs that get more broken attacks these days. Decent Pokemon. Obviously you can use Kiawe, there's other good fire support these days. Torkoal. High pressure heat. During your next turn, this Pokemon's high pressure heat attack does 50 more damage. So basically, it's just a 2 for 80, but you have to wait for 1 turn. And Flamethrower is just a 90 attack for a discard. Yeah, not that good. Let me look at Larvesta real quick. Okay, it doesn't have anything special about him. Volcarona. Let's see what you got. Once during your turn before you attack, you may make your opponent switch to active Pokemon one of their bench Pokemon. Okay, so this is escape rope for your opponent. Your opponent gets to choose, but this is still good. It's basically like the one Swallow had from X and Y that saw no play because everything else in that Pokemon was bad. And yeah, basically that's it. Heat Blast 60 for 2. It's not gonna break any records, but I guess it's better than Swallow's attack. 120 HP is better too. 1 retreat. Uh, Decent Pokemon, I guess. You definitely use this as a support Pokemon. And you can do this every turn, so never know. Reshiram, another legendary. So this is almost exactly modeled after the original Reshiram that was good for years upon years. That got released in black and white. That started the trend of legendary basics being too good. So this basic Pokemon has 130 HP like the original Reshiram, has the same outrage attack, exactly the same, but Scorching Breath, instead of 3 for 120 and a double discard, it does 130 with no discard, but you can't attack at all next turn. I'm not exactly sure if this is better or worse. Um, I do appreciate sometimes not having to discard, but you don't have that option to attack next turn. You can't even use Outrage. It's not like you can't use Scorching Breath. You can't attack at all next turn. 3 Retreat is worse, but like I said, maybe you can use Heavy Ball. But I'm thinking that, it wasn't necessary. The 2 Retreat was fine. Because we have things like a Nest Ball now, uh, it's just a basic Pokemon, so yeah. The 1 extra Retreat probably isn't that good, but who knows. Maybe someday Nest Ball gets rotated out and this stays, and then we only get Heavy Ball. Anyway, but this is definitely a good Pokemon. Uh, I would definitely use it if you use a fire Pokemon, if you use a fire deck, and you want a, you know, a generally good fire basic Pokemon. It's just, I'm just not sure if Scorching Breath is better than, what was the attack? I don't remember, but the original attack that discarded two energies. Uh, 130 though is better than 120. Maybe you can get some different KOs if you use a choice band and stuff. So good Pokemon. So now we're gonna look at Incineroar, but first let me look at Litten. Uh, Pretty cute, nothing special about it. Torracat. Okay, no ability either. But Incineroar is actually pretty broken. Had a look at this card before. Uh, Got him punch. Goddamn punch. This is how I think about this now that I look at it. If your bench Pokemon have any damage counters, this is 130 for 2. This is too broken. You can obviously see the power creep, especially when you look at its HP, 170 HP for a stage 2 Pokemon. So we've come to a point where, you know, stage 2 Pokemon have the exact same HP as a basic EX Pokemon, which probably should have been the case years ago, but who knows? I don't know. Um, for me, they should have never just made basic EXs so big. They should have modeled it after the original EX series, but whatever. They're doing this now. I'm pretty sure there's a reason for why they do these things. Uh, anyway, I digress. We don't want to waste a lot of time with these long videos. But for Flare Blitz, 180, and you discard all 3. I mean, obviously this is good if you use something like Embor, even though that's rotated out. I guess you could use Kiawe or something, but you know, 180, even though you discard all 3, is a surprisingly strong attack. Uh, you'll get to kill a lot of things. So, pretty good stage 2 Pokemon for sure. Fire. Um, I can't really say the same for Alligator, but let's look at Croconaw first. So once during your turn before you attack, if this Pokemon is on your bench, flip a coin. If heads, move all energy cards attached to your active Pokemon to this Pokemon. If you do, switch Marshtomp, it says. I know why it says that. Marshtomp used to have an ability like that too back in the day from Supreme Victors. But yeah, this is for Croconaw here. I'm not sure if there's any errors, but basically this is it. If you flip heads, you get to switch this guy, make him active, and the energies on your previous active guy go to this guy. This is pretty good, but you know, because we usually use rare candy, I'm not really sure how often this is going to come up. It's a coin flip too. And as for Alligator, I can't really say he's as good as Incineroar. 160 HP, pretty good. Free retreat means the heavy ball shenanigans I've mentioned a million times. Crunch, it's an instant discard, and 3 for 80, not that bad. Can use double colorless energy too. Same with Hydro Splash, but the thing is Hydro Splash 4 for 130, it just doesn't seem that good when, you know, other stage 2 Pokemon these days can hit that damage for like 2 or 3 energies much easier. Like not even 3 energy, 2 energy. And basic Pokemon too. But you know, it's a Feraligatr card. We haven't seen one in quite a while. This Pokemon used to be very good for as long as it got printed. But it seems it's going to be a while before we see a very good Feraligatr card again. Quillfish. Poison Sting, just a basic poisoning attack. And Shock Beam, if your opponent's active Pokemon is affected by a special condition, 50 more damage. Okay, so a little combo basic Pokemon. Uh, I guess it's alright. Can't really say much about him. Alright, so Floatzel. Pretty standard Pokemon, 100 HP, stage 1. Nothing really particular about its stats. Razorfin is 1 for 20. Not exactly that good. I wish it was something better, like 1 for 40 or even 50 or something. But Aqua Bomb is a decent little attack. 120 for 3. Is double colorless compatible. The 30 damage sucks, but I guess it is what it is, being a stage 1. Palkia 2. Okay. So this isn't one of the greatest legendaries in this set, but I'm glad it's getting represented. Basically, it just does, 2 for 30 and you heal 30, instant. And it kind of sucks because if you put double colorless energy to instantly start attacking and then hope to do Aqua Blade, it requires 2 water energy, so you're screwed. And Aqua Blade is just 3 for 100, 100. Decent, I guess. Um, Maybe you'd use this, but I'm not really sure. I think there are better water Pokemon, namely Suicune. I'm pretty sure that's in Breakpoint yet, so it's going to stick around. It's sticking around, I should say. Okay, Manaphy. This is a pretty small basic Pokemon, 60 HP only, damn. Wave Splash, you're not going to use that. And once during your turn, you may heal 20 damage for each of your Pokemon with water energy attached. So maybe this can be good, but I think I'd rather have the Manaphy with free retreat, that gives free retreat, that has the Darkrai retreat ability from Dark Explorers. It's kind of too good. Um, you'd actually probably need like at least 2 to get some serious healing going every turn. I mean, I suppose maybe if you combine this with Rough Seas, which unfortunately has rotated out, unless I'm mistaken, it got reprinted in a different set, but I don't think so. Then, yeah, it's still a good ability. It's just, it depends on the deck and your space and what you're trying to do, what strategies you're using. Okay, Keldeo, another legendary. Ball out, bail out, sorry. You put 1 water Pokemon from your discard pile to your hand. A recovery attack. It's a basic Pokemon, so I guess it's not that bad. It sucks that it has to be water, but I suppose anything else would be maybe too abusive. And Resolute Sword, it's basically exactly uh, the attack from the one that Entei has from, I believe, Ancient Origins. I could be wrong. Yeah, Ancient Origins. So the bigger bench, they have the bigger damage. I think it caps at like, what, 120? Yeah. Shining Volcanion. Okay. So dual pump, basically it's I guess snipe you could say, because you can choose 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. That's 50 to each of them. Kind of good for 3, I guess. It's basically the exact same attack from Kyogre from Dark Explorers, Kyogre EX. So power creep. And Quad Smash is another example of power creep. It's the exact same attack from Metagross EX from the collection. Yeah, the shiny Metagross. So, I mean, I guess you can use 2 double colorless energy and use this attack and hope for greatness. If you flip 2 heads, then I guess you did at least 100 damage, but attacks like these are unreliable. If you use this Pokemon, you probably use them from dual pump. I suppose if you can accelerate water energy easily, and then maybe you can try using the Quad Smash in certain situations, but yeah, its stats are decent, 130 HP standard, but the second attack isn't that great. We have our Pikachus and Raichus. Pikachu having that flip a coin until you get Tails attack. And Raichu GX. Powerful Spark. This is basically like a weaker version of, the attacks that they're colorless, but if you use X amount of energy of this type, they do more damage. It's the same case with this. If you use 2 lightning energy to do Powerful Spark, you're doing 60 damage. 3 for 80, and it goes from there. Now this is obviously weaker, but I guess it's quicker, so that's why they're balancing out like this. If you're going to use the big attacks, then, if you're going to use, if you're going to attach 3 energy and stuff, you'd go for Thunder and the GX attack. So Thunder, 160 for 3, very good. It does 30 damage to itself, but I think it's worth it. It's pretty fair. You can get some pretty good KOs with this attack. 210 HP is actually good. The only thing that doesn't make this card, I guess, well, as perfect as it could have been, is the retreat. I would have liked if it had free retreat. But I guess 1 is good. Metal resistance. And Voltail GX, it's a 120 attack with instant paralysis. So I'm sure it's going to come up. It's not like the damage is low too, so yeah. It can save your ass. Hell, maybe you can use this with the Burning Shadows Raichu. Okay, so let's check out Voltorb. Okay, nothing special about you. Electrode. So, 1 energy attack Swift does 60, not affected by anything, even weakness. Effects, resistance, whatever. I'm pretty sure it has free retreat, right? Yeah, free retreat, 90 HP. I suppose that's decent. Well, not really, but I guess for a Pokemon like this. And just 1 for 60. Alright, okay. And we have another Raikou. Cool. Let's see what you do. So, Roaring Thunder. Attach 1 lightning energy from your discard pile to one of your benched Pokemon. Okay, so Yveltal stuff and Landora stuff. It kind of sucks you can't attach it to yourself, but I'm pretty sure those 2 guys, Yveltal and what's it called? Landora's work the same way. You can only be bench. 1 for 30 with this type of effect is very good. So, I guess if you use Magnezone, maybe you don't want to use this because Lightning Ball is a much worse attack. Maybe as attack, but I'm not sure. This belongs in a different type of lightning deck. You can use this with the other Raikou and not use Magnezone and make your deck differently. I don't know, but this is definitely a very good Pokemon. 120 HP Lightning has the good old metal resistance that Lightning Pokemon have. True Retreat is worse than 1, but what can you do? Roaring Thunder is very good, and Lightning Ball is a very solid attack. 90 for 3. Yeah, it doesn't have that risk that Yveltal has, that you have to flip a coin, even though it does 10 less damage. But another very good Pokemon. So far, almost every Pokemon we're looking at, has potential. It's just all around good, and it makes me happy. You have, is this Plusle? Yeah, Plusle. If Minun is on your bench, 60 for 1, basic Pokemon, okay. So maybe you can try some fun stuff with these 2 guys. And let's check Minun too. Draw a card, collect, and just 1 for 40 attack, 20 is on the bench. Okay. At least these cards are cute. Cute Pokemon. Okay, Zekrom. Right. this guy is also pretty closely modeled after the original Zekrom. Outrage, same attack, and Thunderblade, 130, but you discard 2. Okay, so this is good, of course. I'm just trying to think, yeah. They decided that, maybe instead of making Reshiram do self-damage, it's better not to attack at all. I guess maybe that's a better deal, not sure. The 40 self-damage that the original Zekrom from Black and White did was actually kind of too much. I mean, if they couldn't kill you, worked in your favor with outrage, but most of the time, you didn't appreciate that self-damage. Uh, like this with a discard, I think I like it better. I mean, we can use this with Magnezone, but because it doesn't have that sealing that things like uh, Rayquaza EX had, with 130 HP, you're not really killing stuff in one hit, and you don't want to discard 2 energies if you're not going to do. I mean, you definitely use it as a tech, but maybe not as the main attacker of a deck. Uh, but hey, you can use him with Raikou, that's for sure. Ekans and Arbok. Haven't seen these Pokemon in a long time. Okay, so let's check you, Arbok. Come on. So, as long as this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, any damage done by an opponent's attack is reduced by 30. Okay, so this is Intimidate, basically. Intimidating pattern is called. Um, has 120 HP, and the 30 less damage is actually quite significant. Along with something like Fighting for your belt, you're getting some pretty good tanking capabilities here. Poison Fang is decent, I guess. Is 70 for 3, double colorless compatible, and it's instant poison. I mean, all they have to do is reprint something like Verbank City Gym. Well, I mean, hey, you can use Survivor actually. Another deck right there, Arbok Survivor. Pokemon used by Jesse, both snakes, both poison. All right, Jinx. Whiny Voice. Yeah, what a great name. Choose a random card from your opponent's hand. Reveals that card. Shuffles into the deck. A disruption attack. Maybe it's decent. The second attack is just 30 for sleep. Alright, I guess. Maybe. Use a Psyche deck. And now we have Mewtwo GX. So, pretty much just about every Mewtwo that got released ever has been good, or at least, above average, let's say. If it didn't become like a meta card, it was still above average. And this is no exception. A very good card actually, not just above average. Mewtwo GX, okay. Basic Pokemon, 190 HP, already fantastic. It means it's in that range that, it makes it more difficult to kill, even if Pokemon can do 180 damage and stuff like that. Full burst, 30 damage times the number of energy attached to this Pokemon. It doesn't have to be psychic. Exactly the same as the new EX. Uh, a type of attack that Mewtwo gets, pretty good. Uh, Super Absorption is a 60 damage attack and you heal 30. I guess it's alright. Maybe more healing or more actual damage would have been good. But because this is a basic Pokemon, if they increased healing, it actually, yeah, it would make it very tanky. You use something like Fighting for your belt and stuff. Okay, and Psystrike GX, yeah, it's just 200 for 3 and not affected by effects. is a very powerful GX attack, especially for basic. I mean, as opposed to super absorption, which is like your, I guess, cost attack because it has 3 energy. Uh, you can't really use it, especially when full burst. When you have 3, you do 90. So yeah, once you use Side Strike GX, I have to say you don't really have a very great attack to rely on. But I mean, the Mega Mewtwo's are still out. So I guess maybe you can use this guy to Mega Evolve. Uh, I think you could. Oh no, wait, you can't do it. Has to be EX, I think. Yeah, okay, so scratch that. Forget that. I'm not really sure. When you look at Side Strike GX and the HP, once again you're thinking, yeah, Mewtwo is great. This is a good card. But because it doesn't have a very, great attack to rely on, besides Side Strike GX, I'm thinking, Super Absorption probably isn't going to cut it. And Full Burst, while it's good early, it's not going to be very good later on. Now, if this had the same attack that Mewtwo EX from Next Destinies had, that was beyond broken for that time, uh, I'm definitely going to say this card would have been great because you have the GX attack, you have a very good attack, HP is great, but because it doesn't have that, I'm not too sure. Shining Mew. Surprisingly, this is a Mew that doesn't have the ability that, lets you use any attack and stuff like that, that it always has. But it has a legendary guidance. Search your deck for 2 energy cards and put them on your Pokemon in any way you like. Okay, so this is like Xerneas, the basic one from X and Y, but very, very flexible because you can get any 2 energies and you put them on your Pokemon any way you like. But you do have to use Psychic to use him, so that makes things more complicated. And 30 HP, I mean, I guess it's Mew-like, I guess maybe, but, well, in the TCG at least. In the games, Mew is very durable, having the 600 stat total, but 30 HP is incredibly low. I'm not really sure if you're going to be able to use this guy. You definitely only get like one search, one attachment with this, and then he's going to die. Free Retreat is good, the weakness doesn't matter because, I mean, 30 damage, just about anything kills it, even like shitty attacks are going to kill this thing. Yeah, it doesn't even have like 50 or 60. Oh well. Latios is here too, didn't know that. Comes as a psychic guy. So Breakthrough, this attack does 30 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon, and it does 30 to the active. Okay, I suppose that's decent. You're gonna need a double colorless, but alright. Lagoon Flight, that's a pretty underwhelming attack. Why doesn't it do like, I guess 90 or 100 at least? Fuck. Art isn't that good on a Lati, to be honest too, so I guess I shouldn't have been expecting much. Shining Jirachi. And the HP is just 110, I guess that's average. Uh, for a legendary basic. Shining Jirachi. Maybe we've never seen one before. I don't think we've ever seen a Shining Jirachi, I think. I don't know. But Fate of the Stars. To evolve all of your opponent's evolved Pokemon, return the evolved Pokemon to the opponent's hand. So this sort of thing has never worked. I'm not really sure if it worked in the past, like in other eras, but as of now, just about every Pokemon that has this sort of attack, I think Porygon had it. The Espeon from what was it, Breakpoint or Fates Collide had it. Yeah, I think it was Breakpoint. It didn't work out. This I don't think is going to work out. Disappointing, but you know, Jirachi cards are usually very good, so I guess we get a shitty one too every now and then. Um, this might even be the first shitty one, to be honest. It's a shining Jirachi too. Damn shame. Uh, the art isn't that. I mean, it's good, it's cute, but it's not the type of art that I go for. But yeah, I don't think this is gonna be good, to be honest. It never is. But you never know. Golark. 140 HP, stage 1. Good. That's good. Fighting resistance, good. Retreat cost, bad, but heavy ball. Triple smash. Flip 3 coins, this attack does 60 more damage for each heads. Okay. So if you flip 2, you're doing 130 for 3. If you flip 1, you're doing 70 for 3. Not super bad. And if you flip 3, then you're doing 190. Yeah, risky, but if there's like a Victini or something that lets you reflip coins and stuff, maybe this is gonna be a gimmick fun card that's gonna piss off and surprise people. Golok Hammer, I guess it's a standard attack. 4 energy for 120. There's better stuff out there, but I guess it's stage 1. Oh shit. I guess we went back too much. Anyway, where was I? Yeah. Marshadow. So the first basic Marshadow. Okay. So this guy, 70 HP, already not very good. Shadow Punch, not affected by resistance, but only 2 for 30 isn't going to cut it. So let's look at the ability. Is this your hope? Let loose. Once during your turn, when you put this Pokemon from your hand into your bench, you may use this ability. Each player shuffles their hand into the deck and draws up to 4 cards. I mean, for a minute there, I thought it was going to be like draw 4 with a no cost, like you don't have a limit in your hand, and this would have been the next Shaman, even more broken than Shaman EX. But because it's like this, I don't see it being very good. Early isn't good. You need to not have a hand for this to be kind of good. It disrupts the opponent. You know what? I'm not going to say it's not going to be good because I'm pretty sure it's going to have its uses. Depending on the deck, you would use this maybe. Uh, but I really don't think it's going to be shaming EX because it's not exactly N, but definitely something that's, you know, it's a card. It exists. I'm pretty sure it's going to have a use. It's not one of those completely unworkable abilities. Okay, Stunfisk. So flip a coin. If he hits your opponent's opponent is paralyzed. Yeah, okay. Alright. Not really something good. Spirit Tomb. Wow, okay, as long as this Pokemon is in play, your opponent's Pokemon can't retreat. Ooh, okay. So 60 HP is low, but this is instant lock. Doesn't even have to be poisoned like with Dragalg. Curse drop, put 3 damage, counters opponent's Pokemon any way you like. I guess maybe if it only costs 1 energy, but with 2, yeah, not that amazing, but I guess if you want to lock your opponent, more disruption, this is definitely going to have its place in decks too. Um, Switch bypasses it, but Floatstone doesn't, and other things don't, so Yeah, Liepard. Liepard, anyway. So, Torment. Choose one of your opponent's active Pokemon attacks. They can't use that attack. So these types of moves, they're only good if the opponent, if opponent, your opponent's Pokemon, the Pokemon that you use it on, they only have one attack. Or I guess maybe two attacks and they use the GX attack, but that's not usually the case. GX Pokemon usually have three attacks. Uh, but yeah, I mean, at least it does decent damage, 1 for 30 at least. And Slash is just 2 for 60. Average Pokemon. Scraggy, Call for Family, okay. You get a basic Pokemon. Okay, Scraggy. Or Scrafty. Yeah, it's Scrafty. Dangerous Head. If your opponent's active Pokemon is a basic Pokemon, 70 for 2 or 70 for 1 if you use double colors energy, which you should on a Pokemon like this, if it's even going to be decent. And Hammer in 90 for one more attachment. Yeah, okay, decent card. But because it's stage 1, you know, wow, this looks nice. It's the little Zorua uh, being with its mother or father, you know, kind of chilling over there, being cozy with Zoroark. Okay, Zoroark GX. So 210 HP on this Pokemon is good. 2 Retreat is bad. Psychic Resistance good. And Deal. You discard a card, draw 2. Definitely useful. Already this is a good thing that makes this Pokemon playable. And Riot Beat does 20 damage for each Pokemon you have in play. So I guess what you can do is get 6 guys out and you're instantly doing 20 times for each Pokemon. Yeah, 120. And if you use the field spell in Roaring Skies, you can do even more damage. So this becomes even better and expanded, especially since it lets you draw cards. It can be consistent. Uh, so you can use this Pokemon and just use double colorless energy, only care about this attack. You don't have to use the GX attack. But if you're going to use the GX attack, you're going to have to manually attach 2 darkness energy. But you can use any Pokemon's attack. So it's like Mega Gengar's attack that costs 3. But this is on an easier Pokemon to get out, I would say. So this is actually a good Pokemon that could see play. I'm not sure exactly how good it's going to be in the standard format, especially because there's things like Darkrai and stuff being too broken. But yeah, Tall. So this is kind of like, okay, so Strafe, you may switch this Pokemon with one of your benched Pokemon. Okay, not exactly super good, costing 2 energy, but yeah, there's double colorless energy, like I always say. An Oblivion Wing is basically like the first attack of the original Tall, basic one. Instead of being a cheap attack that gives you an energy from the discard pile, it's a much costlier attack that gets you the energy and doing more damage. So it's a 3 for 90, double colorless compatible, so you can just go with 2 attachments and you attach a darkness energy from the discard pile to one of your bench Pokemon for 90 damage. So maybe this is going to be a replacement for Tall I was going to say Tall EX, the basic Tall. I still think the first one was better, especially because it has 10 more HP and just, yeah, I think the attacks were better distributed. You'd much rather have a cheap energy acceleration attack, and then once you get going, do 100 for 3 or something, that having something like this. I mean, I guess like this though, it has the advantage that once you do get going, as long as you have energy in the discard pile, you're gonna keep attaching while doing big damage. So it's not useless by any means. Uh, I'm thinking that for the most part, the other one would be better, but we're not gonna have that forever. And you know, this is definitely a good card. Uh, Still has the fighting resistance, lightning resistance is the same. 10 more 10 less HP is worse, obviously, but what can you do? Okay, we're getting close to the good stuff. All right, let's look at Hoopa first. This looks like it's Shining Hoopa, I think, but maybe I'm wrong. Bandit Guard. This Pokemon. Wow. Okay, so it's basically like Safeguard, Bandit Guard. No damage from Pokemon EX and GX attack, like Ninetales, a little Ninetales. So 120 HP with this ability. Pretty good basic Pokemon. And Super Psybolt for 1 darkness and double colorless 80. So once again, this damage isn't amazing, but because it has this sort of safeguard ability, you know, it's usually going to live. 120 HP is good too. So depending on your opponent's deck, it can lock them out, and you can instantly win just with this card. Uh, 80 damage, you know, it's a basic Pokemon, so it's good. I'm not gonna lie. You know, there's Pokemon that are stage 1 and stage 2 and do this sort of damage for 3 energy. And, you know, you can, if you hit for weakness, if you have things like Choice Band, Muscle Band, stuff like that, is good. So I'm definitely gonna say this is a good card. Since it's dark too, it's gonna make a great tech. Wow, actually. Yeah, this is gonna be a good card. It's gonna make a great tech in Darkrai decks and stuff, possibly. Okay, and now let's go to one of my favorites, Shining Rayquaza. Yeah, I'm really happy about this card. Uh, I would have liked that it was colorless for once instead of dragon, just me, but it'll do. The important thing is that it has Sky Judgment. So 4 energy, fire and lightning, and it does 190 damage. You have to discard 3, but you guys know what I'm thinking about. This is gonna be like Rayquaza EX, only it's a basic Pokemon, and instead of Emboar, you're gonna use Magnezone. Man, I can't wait. Uh, the thing is, I do like using my Raikus, but yeah, getting one-shot kills is much better than hoping the tank and doing, you know, 120 and stuff, and, you know, even though you're not discarding energy. Now, it is worse that it doesn't have the unlimited ceiling like Rayquaza EX, meaning that you're going to have a harder time killing Pokemon GX, well, big Pokemon GX, Stage 2 Pokemon GX and stuff. But because it's 190, it's not even 180, it's 190, and you discard 3, and you use something like Choice Band, I mean, you can get into the 220 sort of reach. Not that, not that hard. So you can definitely kill a lot of things in one hit. And the great news is it's just a basic Pokemon. It's not even a Pokemon EX like Rayquaza EX. Now maybe that's worse because you know the other guy had 50 more HP, and this guy, if you want to beef up his HP with Fighting Fury Belt, you're only going to do 200. You're stuck at 200 damage. Not that that's bad by any means, but you definitely have options. You know, three retreat is shit, but yeah, stuff that I said with heavy ball. And I just wish it was like colorless or something. I don't know. Uh, Dragon just because you're not hitting anything for weakness anymore, it kind of sucks since all Dragon type Pokemon are weak to fairies now. And Dragon Pulse is the same attack of the basic Rayquaza from Dragon's Vault and Dragon's Exalted Secret Rare. It does 40 and you discard the top 2 cards of your deck. Decent little attack, It's even worse now than it was back then. I wish it did 50 at least, since, power creep and stuff. But yeah, you probably don't want to even use it at all because it discards cards from your deck. But I suppose if you have to use it, if it's worthwhile to attack early, you feel in the game state, it's there. But the main attraction is Sky Judgment. I can't wait to use this with Magnezone. Shining Lugia and even Shining Arceus. Okay. So Silver Wing. If your opponent's active Pokemon has an ability, 120 for 3. This is a very good attack. Immediately I can say that. A lot of great Pokemon, well, the best Pokemon have abilities. So more than likely this is going to do 120 for 3. And, 60 for 3 isn't that bad anyways, I guess. And Arrow Force. Discard an energy attached to this Pokemon, and it does 130 for 4. This isn't bad, but the best case scenario is you would want to attach 2 double colorless energy to this Pokemon. So that means for 2 attachments you're doing 130. But then when you discard an energy, you're going to have to discard a double colorless. So it would have been much better if this attack cost 3. And I guess maybe it did 120 or 110. I think I would have liked that better, but yeah. Another basic Pokemon, colorless. You'd probably use it. I guess if it's a good tech actually. I mean, 120 on Pokemon with abilities. I think it's alright. If you use double colorless energy, it can make a good tech. Final resistance is good. Arceus. Now, okay, I'm already disappointed because since this is Arceus, man, and Zygarde is like the first basic Pokemon to have 140 HP right off the bat, this Pokemon should have like 150 HP for sure, being basic, and I don't give a fuck if that's broken. It should have been like the first basic Pokemon to have the highest HP, break a record or something, for a basic non-EX GX Pokemon, but it only has 130. Oh well, okay. So as long as this Pokemon is in play, your bench Pokemon will not receive damage from your opponent's Pokemon attacks. Wow. So this is like Mr. Mime, but on a good Pokemon. You have 130 HP, colorless, and Ultimate Arrow does 30 damage to each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So, not exactly the greatest attack in the world, especially with the cost, but at least it's usable. With Mime, you more than likely couldn't use him, unless you used him in a deck that used Psychic or Fairy Energy, respectively. And even then, he wasn't that great, but this, maybe you can actually use. I mean, hell, I usually run Mime in most of my deck, so if I run this in energy acceleration decks like Magnezone, it can actually attack with him. It can actually be an attacker too. So yeah, I mean spread and only on bench, and it doesn't hit the active either, is not that great, but you can't really complain since it's a 130 basic with safeguard basically, with bench guard, bench barrier. So probably not, living to the godlikeness of Arceus, especially Shining Arceus, but very good Pokemon either way as a support Pokemon. So Energy Retrieval reprint, Great Ball reprint. I don't think they changed this. No, it's just reveal set. Super Scoop Up. Damage Mover. This might be a new card. Move 3 damage counters from one of your Pokemon to another one of your Pokemon. Okay, Shenanigans card. Ultra Ball and Switch reprint as well as Pokemon Catcher. How? It's just draw 3 cards, as I remember. Pokemon Breeder. So this is basically draw 2 cards and heal 20 damage from your active Pokemon. Maybe it's going to have a use, but I'm pretty sure I'd rather have Kukui if I'm going to use a card like this that is just a straight draw. The extra damage is much better and useful than healing 20. Lily reprint 2, and double colorless reprint. I really don't like that they keep reprinting this card. I think this card, if it didn't exist, it makes the game much different. I really want to experience a game with this card not being around. At least if they're gonna keep reprinting this card, they should reprint shitloads of other special energies like they did in the EX era, when we had like boost energy and double rainbow energy and all these cards. And warp energy, this isn't something we've seen in a while, I'm pretty sure since fucking Majestic Dawn probably. So, or maybe Triumphant, I'm not sure. I think it was Rescue Energy we got in there. Anyway, so when you attach this card from your hand to your Pokemon, switch that Pokemon one of your bench Pokemon. So the game is much different now. I'm not exactly sure if this card, well, it's probably going to see play. Expert players usually use cards like these because you're opening yourself up to Enhance Hammer, and it only gives you know, a colorless energy, and only one, doesn't give two like double colorless energy. So it's an expert type of card, if it's going to see play. The thing is, the game is much different. Back in the days, cards like this saw play, like Warp Energy and Cyclone Energy and these type of switching special energy cards. Basically, most of the best attackers and the meta attackers attack with one energy or no energy. I'm thinking Garchomp, level X, GL, uh, yeah, it was Garchomp C level X, not G. Things like Gyarados, but anyway, okay. We have the full arts here. Very beautiful cards, you know. Even though they don't have the charm the old level X and EX cards have. You know, the good old holographic borders. Man, I imagine this card is going to be expensive as fuck. Okay, here we go again. Uh, but yeah, pretty full arts. You got Pokemon Breeder 2. And then you have the secret rares. And wow, Mewtwo GX in the lab, inside the, uh, what's it called? Oh man, what is this called? The cylinder thing. I don't remember the English word right now. I'm sorry. Sugar in my brain is killing me. Anyway, uh, but this is the Shining Legends set. Uh, this video is probably going to be long as fuck, but I wanted to cover the cards in detail since we're probably going to do another one later on talking about the best cards and the English exclusives that we're likely going to get. But this is an incredibly strong set. There's a lot of playable cards, a lot of cool cards, shining cards, legendary cards. You know, I mean, I'm really like fucking excited for Quasar, to be honest. Uh, it's not as big as Burning Shadows, I imagine, but you know, it's one of those sets that I guess they're not gonna go full ham with the new trainers and stuff. They're repairing a lot of stuff. Yeah, I'm really sad they're repairing double colorless energy, but who knows? Maybe it's for the better. The card is sticking around. Comment down below what you guys think. I mean, I take advantage of the card when I can, but I'm thinking it does more harm than good. Oh well. Okay, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'd appreciate it if you leave a like and subscribe because I really want to get noticed. And hope you enjoyed. I'm going to do another one when the English cards come out. Like I said, I'm just gonna go ahead and say right off the bat, this is another set that's definitely worth investing. Uh, if not for, anything that maybe you'll get cards to make a deck. There's a lot of just overall good basic Pokemon you can splash in a lot of decks, and Celebi and Pokemon like that. So anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please subscribe, leave a like, share this with your friends, and this is what's up.